Today we're going to take a look at a literary analysis and work on writing one based on the poem we've been working with, Don't Call Me Refugee. But before we begin, I want you to take a look at this literary analysis that you see here. What can you conclude about the three parts of the analysis if I tell you that the analysis below is strong? You may want to pause this while you consider my question and read over the paragraph. If you notice that the analysis has three main parts of a claim, which is in green, evidence, which is in yellow, and reasoning, which is in orange, then you are absolutely right. This is a pattern or a structure that we've been using to write explanations throughout this school year, and we will continue to use throughout the year. The analysis starts off by making a claim about how the metaphors work in the poem by Langston Hughes. The yellow provides evidence from the poem so it talks about the metaphors, and then the orange part explains how the metaphors are helping to show how miserable a life without dreams really is. This is the same pattern that we want to follow as we write our literary analysis together for a part of the poem Don't Call Me Refugee. Over the last couple of days, we've talked about this poem quite extensively in class, and we really talked about the simile that I've bracketed off here in this poem in the first stanza. Yesterday, we talked about how all of these components work together to create a hopeless mood or attitude, atmosphere in the poem. Mood is the atmosphere or feeling that's created through all of the word choice and the figurative language, and everything all working together helps to create a mood. And in this case, we talked about it being hopeless. And the simile, it feels like I don't even exist in the world, as if I'm a migrant bird far away from my land, turning back to look at my village, helps to work to create this mood. I want you to go ahead and grab your graphic organizer that I asked you to retrieve from the counter over by the iPads. If you haven't gotten this graphic organizer yet, please go ahead and grab it now and pause the video. If you're ready to rock and roll, I want you to follow the directions here, and I want you to rewrite the lines from the poem containing the simile in this first box. See, just like I have it done here. And then once you've done that, I want you to think about what you know about the two parts of the comparison being made. So I want you to think about what you know about when someone feels like they don't exist, and then I want you to think about what you know about a migrant bird that's far from home. And I've given you examples in each box, but I want you to brainstorm a few more. Don't stop there. Again, you might need to pause the video in order to fill this out. On this slide, you can see that I've listed what I think about when I consider both parts of this simile. So when I think about when she says it feels like I don't exist in the world, I've listed a few items there. And then when I think about the comparison to a migrant bird far from home, you can see what I think about there. Take a few moments to read over my thoughts and compare them to your own. You see, it's really important when we think about figurative language that we activate the prior knowledge or the background knowledge that we have about that figurative language, because that's really what helps us understand the deeper meaning. And if we don't dig into that, it's really hard for us to understand what the author or the poet's trying to say and get to that deeper meaning. So once I've thought through the background knowledge between what's being compared, I'm ready to go ahead and start brainstorming my claim, evidence, and reasoning. I've created a claim for you, and I've already used some transition phrases to include the evidence from the poem as well. You can see that listed next to C and E. I would like you to write this down on your graphic organizer next to C and E as well. Go ahead and pause the video and write that in now. Once that's done, now you can see that I have complete sentences as well as sentence stems for you next to the R. This first one is a complete sentence. Because the speaker makes this comparison, I can infer this is a hopeless mood. Okay? Then I have a sentence stem for you. If you see 3 dots at the end, then you know I have not completed the sentence. I've just set the sentence up for you, and I want you to answer it with what you know. You are the reader. You're going to use your background knowledge from up here to fill that in. Now you don't need to use all of it. I don't expect you to use all of it, but I want you to choose or summarize not existing and migrant bird from home in these 2 sentences where I've started it for you. And then finally, I have a concluding sentence already written for you right here. Add that into your graphic organizer as well. Again, please pause the video and fill these components out. Here's how I would fill out those sentences. If you see here in the reasoning part, I wrote, if the speaker says she feels like she doesn't exist in the world, the reader knows she feels like no one cares about her. Comparing this to a migrant bird allows the reader to infer that she does not feel at home and safe where she is because she was forced to leave her home like the migrant bird is forced to leave his home. There is not much evidence that she is looking forward to the future, so this simile helps create a hopeless mood. You can see how I've put together the information or my background knowledge from the graphic organizer here into my reasoning down here. I want you to compare what I have to what you have. How is it the same? How is it different? Now that you see what I'm looking for, can you also replicate that by writing one of your own? Now, taking what you've brainstormed in your graphic organizer, as well as using my model as an example, I want you to write your own paragraph of analysis for Don't Call Me Refugee, answering that same question about how it creates the hopeless mood. I want you to type it up in Notability so that you can highlight the 3 parts and then submit it as a PDF on Edmodo. There will be an assignment there for you. Please feel free to add in your own ideas and words and thoughts, your own flavor to the analysis if you'd like, if you feel comfortable doing that as you rewrite it. If you don't, you can stay as close to what I've modeled and the sentence stems that I gave you as you need to in order to feel successful. Then we'll be able to take a look at your analysis together when I'm back in class with you this week. Good luck!